Madam Speaker, I remain thankful and humbled to be given this opportunity to rise in the Houses of Parliament for another time to make my contribution to the State of the Constituency Debate. I give thanks and glory to God in the highest for giving me His protection, strength and direction in these most critical times of my journey as a young Member of Parliament. I thank and commend the Most Honourable Prime Minister Andrew Michael Holness and my party leader for his ardent support and exceptional leadership. I would like to acknowledge my colleagues sitting in both houses. I acknowledge you, Madam Speaker, or Deputy Speaker, as you continue to lead with fairness and impartiality. I would also like to recognize the Clerk of the House and the rest of her team here at the Houses of Parliament for their continuous hard work. Madam Speaker, I am grateful for the continuous support and industriousness of my 4 councillors and councillor caretaker. I thank the dedicated and hard-working members of my office team, management team, executive members and party workers. I thank my family, friends, well-wishers and my colleagues that I work with in the private sector for their continued love and support. I remain grateful and with much humility, Madam Speaker, to be given the opportunity to serve my wonderful people of St. Ann Northwestern. I want to take this opportunity to reassure them that I am working to the best of my ability to give them the best representation in which they deserve. Though the journey may be challenging, I will certainly continue to listen to the concerns of our people, be as accessible as best as I possibly can, and continue to lobby hard for what will create a better life for all. Madam Speaker, we have made significant strides this year as it relates to road and infrastructural development. All commitments mentioned in my presentation last year have either been completed or in the process towards execution. We have completed the following road projects: road rehabilitations of sections of Back Salem, Islington to Bengal, Hampton, Tatchfield, Keith, implementation of drainage system and paving at the Bamboo Library, implementation of drainage system in Salem, and the building of the retaining wall and river training at Sleepy Hollow. This includes the drainage improvement at Runaway Bay to increase the runoff of stormwater in the Runaway Bay Square. Madam Speaker, rehabilitation of the Milford Road in Orange Hill is currently being done and should be completed within a few days. Procurement process is far advanced for the roadway in the Lewis community. Through the Constituency Development Fund, sections of the Egypt Road at the York Castle High School will be rehabilitated soon. Through the Tourism Enhancement Fund, sections of the Mount Pleasant to Mount Olivet roadway will be rehabilitated in short order. Madam Speaker, our diligent Minister of Local Government and Rural Development has committed to rehabilitating sections of the roadway in the community of Tricey, leading to Knapdale. This project will directly impact the lives of over 1,000 residents living in that community. Madam Speaker, I am extremely elated to announce today that the Runaway Bay to Brownstone roadway was sent out to tender 2 Saturdays ago. The people of St. Ann Northwestern have been waiting for decades for the rehabilitation of this major roadway. This roadway, Madam Speaker, goes to the heart of the constituency, and that allows and links the northern part of the island to the southern areas. Madam Speaker, I want to make it categorically clear that there were no previous financial commitments in the pipeline when I just went in as a Member of Parliament to rehabilitate this roadway. The commitment came when I made representation and the sedulous Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation with the responsibility of works visited the constituency last year on July 21. The Minister made several commitments on that tour of the constituency. Most have already been addressed, and others are in process. On behalf of my constituents, I wish to say we thank you, Minister, for your commitment and diligence. Madam Speaker, we have major traffic build-up in the constituency across the rest of the coast in St. Anne and the constituency. As development continues to rapidly take place across the corridor, we are happy and thankful to learn of the plans the government will be undertaking to solve the traffic issues on the North Coast Highway that will add capacity that will make commute safe and efficient for many years to come. Madam Speaker, the issue is this. The daily capacity of the North Coast Highway through the parish of St. Anne is approximately 10,640 vehicles. However, the capacity of the roadway has been exceeded. Data collected last year shows that the average annual daily traffic between Greenwood and Discovery Bay is approximately 16,100 vehicles. The average annual daily traffic between Salem and Miami Bay is approximately 21,000 vehicles. This creates a significant capacity deficit, Madam Speaker, in both segments, resulting in the traffic. As announced by the Most Honourable Prime Minister, the public investment project will involve the construction of an additional 2 lanes covering 60 kilometers from Sea Castles in St. James to Miami Bay in St. Anne. Madam Speaker, though this project is being pursued, it is also important for us to consider other safety measures on the roadway. A feasibility study has been carried out by NWA as it relates to the implementation of a traffic light at Discovery Bay by the intersection that leads to Brownstown. The study revealed that there is the need for a traffic light in that area. And Madam Speaker, we hope that based on the history of accidents taking place at that spot, it will be treated as a matter of priority.
It will be.
Madam Speaker, there is much more to be desired of our road networks, including main roads, parochial roads, and also roads in housing developments. This shows how deplorable the state of the road networks were across the constituency up to September 2020. Madam Speaker, estimates were done on the following roads: Mount Zion to Sturgetown via Landovery Mountain, Discovery Bay to Orange Valley, and sections of Orange Hill by officers by the NWA. NWA funding. Madam Speaker, this will be a pending funding for these projects to come through. The Priory to Bamboo Road, Bamboo to Brownstown, Brownstown to Wilberforce, Brownstown to Retreat, Discovery to Stewarttown, Old Folly to Farmtown and Betheltown, Old Road to Sturgetown, Jack's Lodge, Sandfast, Wesley Crescent, Goshen, Minard Hills, Scarlet Hall, Salem to Hampstead, Kensington, Summerhill. Oh, no, we're not doing them. We're not doing them. No. Just naming a few, Madam Speaker, are all in dire need of rehabilitation.
When do you going to do? Where is the this? Do road, Krystal.
Madam Speaker, I would like to bring to the attention of the Parliament an issue that doesn't only exist in St. Anne Northwestern, but also across other constituencies as well. The long-standing issue of deplorable road conditions and other infrastructure within housing developments. This includes developments that are done by the Housing Agency of Jamaica, the National Housing Trust, private developers, and to a lesser extent, the Urban Development Corporation. While I'm mindful, Madam Speaker, that the NHT has embarked on a national program to rehabilitate roads and other infrastructure in developments that was built by them, there is a lacuna in our development approval process. What obtains now, Madam Speaker, is that when these roads deteriorate and fall into a state of disrepair, there is an expectation that the political representatives ought to effect repairs to these roads when they are neither classified as a parochial road or an NWA road. Yes. In my constituency, Madam Speaker, the residents in the communities of Bel Air Meadows, Cardiff Hall, Mount Edgecombe, Seacrest, Bridgewater, just to name a few, have been struggling with these issues for many years. Madam Speaker, whereas we welcome the developments in the constituency, we are calling for a transitional arrangement to be introduced as part of the conditions of approvals for large housing developments.
Excellent call.
In the first instance, a clear timeline for the completion of development ought to be set and be adhered to. Secondly, developers, whether private or government developers, are to maintain these roads for 24 months, during which time the roads are to be transferred to the municipal corporation. Madam Speaker, for developments that are currently having these problems developed by the HAJ and UDC, I am calling for them to roll out similar programs to that of the NHD, to rehabilitate these scheme roads and other infrastructure, and thereafter transfer them to the municipal corporation.
Good call.
Madam Speaker, for those roadways within private developments, recognizing that some of these developers have moved on, no longer in business or deceased, I recommend that the municipal corporation, in a structured way, perhaps by virtue of the age of these developments, take over these roads. With this, it will set the platform for government resources to be used over time in these developments, whether through the CDF, the municipal corporation, or other agencies of government. Madam Speaker, this is a matter I have taken keen interest in, as I have seen the suffering of constituents who have bought into these developments. A lot of these persons have their titles and they are paying their property taxes.
Yes.
Upon completion of the research and consultation, I will be tabling a motion in this Honourable House so that this matter can be debated.
Well done.
Madam Speaker, I know our government has the very best interests of heart for our people, and will seek to solve this problem which has existed for decades. Madam Speaker, like many other rural constituencies, the water woes in Central and Northwesterns remain a real concern to us. Though we are making steps in the right direction, over 60% of our communities still has a shortage or no piped and potable water. All the projects announced last year in my presentations have been making progress, Madam Speaker. However, it is rather slow, and this is primarily due to budgetary restraints and delays in the supply of material and equipment from overseas. Madam Speaker, the Rosemount water supply upgrade is underway. Pumps have been procured, new pipes are being laid, tank has been procured and should be erected soon. This will impact the communities in the areas of Discovery Bay, Bridgewater, Primrose Hill, and to facilitate the extension to Mount Pleasant and Mount Olivet. Based on the upgrading work, we will be able to supply existing residents, Madam Speaker, adequately and reliably, and to accommodate the future developments in these areas. Due to supply chain issues, we have not yet completed Phase 1 of the Minard Water System project. Once the pumps and motors have been delivered, upgrading works will commence, and thereafter we will move to Phase 2, depending on the availability of funding. This will be to address the pipeline issues with numerous leaks within the water network. Enough water will then be available to extend to the communities of Philadelphia, Knapdale, Aberdeen, and sections of Orange Hill currently without water. The National Water Commission has committed to bringing water supply to Enfield and Retreat, impacting over 1,500 residents. The procurement for the 4 kilometers of pipes and fittings has already started. Madam Speaker, over 7,000 residents across the community of Queenite, Content, Keith, Lawrence Park, Homecastle, Retirement, Flamstead, Brown Peace, and Adnagrass are eagerly awaiting the completion of the Queenite water system. This is a joint project between the NWC and Rural Water Supply. The update on this project is that the well has been completed and the approvals have been granted by the Water Resources Authority.
That's good.
Madam Speaker, the Tickets water system is still being worked on by the Rural Water Supply. We have over 2,000 residents anxiously awaiting its completion. Work continues to replace the leaking pipelines, construct concrete covering for the reservoir, and to procure the solar pump. This project has also slowed down, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we are being hopeful that the Freehill Water Project, which will impact over 1,900 residents investigated by the Rural Water Supply, will be given some priority for the upcoming financial year. We are working with the NWC and the Central Municipal Corporation to find a solution to bring piped water to Mount Ararat and Mines. Rural Water is looking into providing a tank for the community of Mount Zion, where there is an unreliable water system due to insufficient water being in the spring during drought months. Yes. Madam Speaker, we are truly hoping that there will be no further delays as it relates to the Green Park to Bamboo Water System project. This project is funded by the Caribbean Development Bank and will impact the lives, Madam Speaker, of over 25,000 residents across the parish. Madam Speaker, this parish has been conceptualized for many years now. The people continue to suffer with no piped water and the unreliability of trucked water. They have become impatient on this matter regarding not having this basic yet precious commodity that should be accessible to all. Madam Speaker, now that the design is almost completed, we are making a special request to our Minister of Finance and the Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation with the responsibility of water to help the people of St. Ann by prioritizing this project and let us make it a reality. Madam Speaker, all 23 government-operated schools in the Quality Education Circle were successfully opened for the new school term. Despite the challenges of the learning loss due to COVID-19, I am proud to report that the top-performing students in the parish of St. Ann for PEP results is from St. Ann Northwestern, the Servite Primary School. Madam Speaker, due to the growth in population in the constituency, primarily caused by the availability of new job opportunities in construction and tourism, as well as the increasing numbers of housing development, the constituency will require additional physical spaces in our schools. We are currently facing challenges in this regard, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the York Castle High School currently has over 280 students in its sixth form program. The school has also unveiled a slew of new programs over the past year. The increase in enrollment and the introduction of new programs has created a need for additional classroom, labs, and workspaces. We are working together to build out these new spaces. However, whatever can be granted towards this initiative will be greatly appreciated, Minister. Yes, the Minister always listens. Madam Speaker, the Discovery Bay High School is operating on the compound of the Discovery Bay Primary School. Ideally, the school needs to relocate to ensure that the facility is adequate for the secondary program and very soon the sixth form pathway program. Currently, the ministry is undergoing pre-contracting works for the construction of additional classroom spaces to accommodate the various cohorts of students at its current location. The board has located lands at Minard, which is in proximity and is awaiting the Ministry of Education and Youth to start the building process for the school's new state-of-the-art home. Madam Speaker, the Brownstown High School remains on shift with over 2,000 students enrolled. The school requires approximately 18 additional classrooms to transition from the shift system to the whole-day system. However, we are of the view that if Discovery Bay High School is relocated to the lands at Minard, this could also alleviate the burden from the Brownstown High School. Right. Nonetheless, the school would still need additional classroom, labs, sanitary conveniences, workshops, and office spaces. Madam Speaker, the Brownstown Model Basic is slated to transition to a government standalone infant school in January 2023. The current structure will require some modification for it to meet the standards of the Early Childhood Commission. Just last month, I brought the leadership of an overseas charity there, and they were granted a donation on the spot. However, with much to do, additional support is surely needed. The Minister of Education and Youth has in our plans to visit our constituency soon, Madam Speaker, and we are anticipating favorable and grand announcements as it relates to the development of our schools. After all, St. Ann Northwestern holds the capital of education for St. Ann and neighboring parishes. Right. The attention is well needed and deserved. Madam Speaker, we continue to be thankful for the National Broadband and Community Public Wi-Fi initiatives. We had our launch of our second community public Wi-Fi in Brownstown a few months ago. All infrastructure is in place to launch our third community public Wi-Fi spot in Mount Zion, and we will be receiving our fourth Wi-Fi spot area in the community of Tickets. The Universal Service Fund will be providing the Addison Park Computer Laboratory with 20 new computers by the end of November. I want to note that currently the lab has been down for many years, Madam Speaker, due to the computers being obsolete. So this is a big deal, because what this means now is that our customer service courses, call center courses, coding courses, and other computer-related classes will be taught. Let me publicly commend and thank the Minister of Energy, Science and Technology and the team at the Universal Service Fund for their continued hard work and for the financial support that was given to the York Castle High School robotics team in representing Jamaica in the World Robotics Championship in Texas in March. Madam Speaker, the update on the Muirhouse Infant Department project, which will be to rehabilitate the play area and to be funded by the Jamaica Bauxite Institute as one of their 45th anniversary projects, is far advanced. Work should begin before the end of this year. Through the CDF, we were able to contribute towards the educational upliftment of many. Over 600 students received book vouchers, 35 students tablet devices, 55 tertiary grants. With additional support from charities, we provided over 2,500 backpack and school supplies, contributed over $500,000 to the development of 2 new classroom spaces at the Brownstown Infant School. This will be able to assist them in getting certified by the Early Childhood Commission. Through sponsorship, Madam Speaker, we facilitated over 800 back-to-school medicals free of cost to the parents. Madam Speaker, we endeavor to meet the welfare of our people, those in need of assistance and support with funeral grants, purchasing of medical supplies, medical services, housing assistance and food supply. Madam Speaker, with all this being said, I am in support of my colleagues in asking for a review of the CDF.
Here, here, here. That's right, that's right.
The need for support in various areas of human and infrastructural development remains relatively high. In most cases in my office, we are only able to meet approximately 5 to 10% of the requests that comes in each year. And Madam Speaker, in looking at it, the CDF was developed through extensive research and policy. 15 years ago, it was conceptualized that members of parliament would be allocated $40 million to assist in their community development activities. Fast forward to now, Madam Speaker. It is inconceivable that $20 million, which is half of the amount, would be able to cover what was conceptualized then. Madam Speaker, it would mean that we are able to do less, and we're confined to doing less than what was being done.
Yes. Good, very good.
Madam Speaker, I would like to thank the Minister of Local Government and Rural Development for the Paint the City project in the Brownstown area. The town is looking good with the murals and the facelift and renovations to the market, Madam Speaker. And it is well appreciated by all.
Absolutely.
Ministers committed to the renovation of the car park center. This is in dire need of repair, and so it was a relief to the taximen, passengers and vendors there when they heard of this project to come. Madam Speaker, Brownstown remains one of the largest towns in St. Ann, with over 3,000 persons commuting through the town on a daily basis, being the main town for many. Madam Speaker, the reality is that the town is in serious need of a redesign, and which entails structured town planning and development.
That's right. That's right.
The plan should not only comprise of diverting the traffic by creating bypasses and improved parking spaces, but it would also make sense for us at this time to investigate the expansion of the town to create more room for businesses and other entities. Madam Speaker, there are vacant lands, both private and government-owned, from Brownstown heading to Orange Valley and from Orange Valley heading to Runaway Bay that can be considered for expansion. Madam Speaker, the Brownstown Health District is eagerly awaiting the development of the new health center in Brownstown. The current structure cannot adequately meet the needs of the population, Madam Speaker. Last year, over 19,500 patients utilized the services at the Brownstown Health Center. It is with this in mind, we welcome this project wholeheartedly and thank the Minister of Health and Wellness and the State Minister of Health and Wellness. All the workers at the Northeast Regional Health Authority and the rest of the team from the Ministry of Health for prioritizing this project. Madam Speaker, this design concept has been finalized. The no objection letter from the St. Ann Municipal Corporation has been secured for a temporary location at the Liberty Valley and Country Club to be used for the health center during demolition and reconstruction. Stakeholder engagement sessions are expected to be conducted over the next 8 months to sensitize the public and respond to any concerns that may arise. Madam Speaker, we continue to lobby and push towards the concept of building a new health center in Runaway Bay to become a reality. We are happy that steps are being taken towards this goal, as the issue of the existing health center being inadequate for the population it serves remains a point of major concern to all of us. The hope is that the project development will be done during the 2023-2024 financial year. Madam Speaker, the beauty and geographical location of our constituency continues to make us ideal for tourism. We have the best blue and crystal clear waters at the suited temperatures. Along with the lush and exotic greenery tied into the panoramic views from the hills, we are the perfect destination on the coast. Madam Speaker, tourism is ever expanding in Central and Northwestern. We are anticipating the development of 3 additional hotels soon. The new Secrets Resorts in Richmond, the expansion of the Bahia Principe and the Sandals Beaches Resort. Yes. We continue to see more Airbnbs and villas being built in the constituency. This is consistent overall, with Jamaica being the fastest growing Caribbean destination. Yes, that's right. A new tour in Mount Pleasant, named the One in Level Farm Cottages, is scheduled to be opened in December 2022. We continue to work towards the Sturgestown Cultural Heritage Tour. This tour, Madam Speaker, is a perfect combination of culture, history, scenery, and adventure. We have the most unique caves, exciting hiking trails, the Malice Spring, which is said to be the reason the people in Sturgestown lives the longest in the entire island, because they drink from the Malice Spring, and other interesting features. Many thanks to the Tourism Product Development Company for funding and implementing the repainting of the Wall of Fame at the school wall in Sturgestown. This, Madam Speaker, will form a vital part of the tour. Madam Speaker, with these developments and opportunities in tourism, we will certainly be preparing our constituents to be employable. Our people remain the most treasured attraction, and their development is most important for any other form of development to be successful. We welcome these developments. We welcome these developments because it is the clearest indication of growth, development, and prosperity. However, Madam Speaker, wherever opportunities exist, particularly in relation to employment, it is of my belief that for constituents, a protocol be developed for them to be given first priority of employment, yes, having regards to their qualifications, competence, and experience.
Only fair.
Madam Speaker, Flavors Beach in Runaway Bay will be developed by TPDCO. Funds are already earmarked for this project. Therefore, once the design is finalized, the process will be accelerated to execution. Madam Speaker, TPDCO is currently implementing the Old Folly Beach Park project, which is also included in the beautification near the Bengal Bridge on both ends. Yes. This project is coming on quite nicely, Madam Speaker, and already the park is being used and appreciated by locals and visitors. I would like to take this opportunity to thank our Minister of Tourism and the team at TPDCO for ensuring that our section of St. Anne is a part of the development in tourism and our coastlines are being beautified. Madam Speaker, we have been reassured that as it relates to the cleaning and debushing of our corridors, we should be seeing much more improvement within the next few months. The team has started, Madam Speaker, and we are hoping that the stretch is maintained going forward so that safety, cleanliness, and beauty will prevail. Madam Speaker, we were able to assist over 330 farmers with fertilizers. Yeah. We have provided assistance for close to 100 poultry farmers in the form of poultry feed, day-old broiler birds, and medication. My office not only provided input, but worked closely with RADA with the training of beneficiaries of the proper management and use of these inputs in their respective enterprises. Cattle production is a thriving business in my constituency, Madam Speaker, and as such we purchased close to 5 animals as part of the herd improvement program that we hope to expand. Yes. Yes. Madam Speaker, a reliable source of water is an important factor in agricultural production. Through the Productive Incentive Program and CDF, we have assisted 30 farmers with irrigation apparatus. As part of the predial larceny management and creating awareness of RADA functions, we have conducted mass farmer registration in various communities. Through the CDF, we have beautifully repainted and done repairs to the Fisherman's Beach House and the vending area on the Salem Fisherman's Beach in April of this year. And I would like to thank the Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries for his support to our farmers so far and to a greater extent the constituency. And we are looking forward to even making a greater impact in the years to come for both our farmers and fishermen. Madam Speaker, infrastructural work on some of our community playing fields and sports complexes.
Madam Speaker, I now ask that the standing orders be suspended to enable the member to continue her presentation to its conclusion, notwithstanding the time limit on speeches.
Members, the question before the House is that the member be given sufficient time to complete her presentation. Those in favor?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, colleagues. Madam Speaker, infrastructural work on some of our community playing fields and sports complexes has begun to take place. We have developed a multi-purpose court and fenced around it at the Discovery Bay playing field. The project to redevelop and fence the multi-purpose court at Addison Park Sports Complex has started yesterday. These courts will be able to facilitate netball, volleyball, and basketball. I would like to thank the Sports Development Foundation for funding the fencing of the Discovery Bay Court, and I am looking forward, Madam Speaker, to have our distinguished Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sports to join us in the ribbon cutting and handing over of these two facilities before the end of the year.
By the way, you must invite you need to invite
Madam Speaker, we have also rendered and painted the stands for Jamaica 60 at the Addison Park Sports Complex.
That's right.
This project started on Labor Day, and I'm hoping that when Minister visits, we will get additional support needed to develop the facility. It being a central and key location to over 100 communities.
Lisa, be presidential now.
Madam Speaker, we will be building soon a training center with a bathroom at the Salem playing field. The first phase of the project entails the construction of the infrastructure and will be funded by the TPD Spruce Up Funds and the CDF. The second phase, Madam Speaker, will include outfitting a section of the training center with computers.
Yes.
Madam Speaker, we are working with TEF to develop the playing field at Mines. The project will be underway early next year. The first phase will be to level the playing field area and to fence it around.
Level the field.
Madam Speaker, we have hit the ground running in sports and community development. We have partnered with Southwest St. Anne, and we are currently hosting our Champions of Champions Football League. We have 40 teams participating. This league was started in June and will end in the middle of November. We have ensured to enroll with the St. Anne Football Federation, and this will not only be good for the discipline of the competition, but also higher quality games and standards.
That's right.
As we draw closer to the quarterfinals, officials will be looking at the talents that are being displayed and present opportunities for growth in the sport. Madam Speaker, also this summer, we hosted our Reggae Talent Expo. This event was well supported and served its purpose in highlighting our local talents within our communities. Give exposure and experience to these talents, Madam Speaker. Provide airtime, studio opportunities, as well as to reward top performances. We have a lot of talent in Central and Northwestern bursting at the seams to be heard and encouraged towards greatness. It was even said that the quality of some of our performances were so good that they could have joined the national competition, and so we will be encouraging them, Minister, to do so. Madam Speaker, we will be hosting our Grand Gospel Concert this year on December 10. We will be having professional performances as well as our local gospel artists. Madam Speaker, this concert will not only give God the highest praises, but also to uplift the community spirit and togetherness, support our community talents by providing this platform for their exposure, and to promote economic life within Brownstown and its environs. Madam Speaker, we have started our Pondy Corner meetings with various agencies and stakeholders. We have hosted 3 meetings so far in the communities of Lewis, Old Folly, and Mount Olivet and Mount Pleasant. Our 4th meeting will be held in Muirhouse next week. These meetings are quite spirited and interactive, Madam Speaker, as we learn from our residents and listen to their concerns. They also learn from the various entities and become more aware and knowledgeable about specific functions, roles, and responsibilities. Madam Speaker, we have been making good strides as it relates to development of housing solutions in our constituency. The Savannah Housing Project for middle-income earners in Bel Air, which is phase 2 of the Vistas, has started. Yes. Madam Speaker, the Minard Estate Housing Development Project with 650 housing units, which is to be done by the NHT, is currently being undertaken by the pre-qualified developers to develop the land. That's right. Proposals are expected by the end of November 2022. Madam Speaker, we have several private developers who are investing in building housing solutions at different types and price points. We have condominiums such as the Azure, which will be the tallest building in the area, the Paradisiac Beach Club with villas, apartments, and standalone homes to 211 eco-friendly homes to be built at the Mahogany Hill development in Chester, just to name a few. Madam Speaker, I am proud to be a part of a government that truly cares. Yes. I commend the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister and Minister of Economic Growth and Job Creation, for establishing the Hope New Social Housing Program in 2018. And I thank the Hope team for their commitment towards making sure that these goals are met. Madam Speaker, I have had the privilege of participating in ribbon cuttings of 4 houses built through this program. For recipients who are vulnerable or fire victims within the communities of Goshen, Retirement, Sturgetown, and Clayground. Madam Speaker, these houses that are built, they are built to the highest quality standards, yet affordable. It is times like these, Madam Speaker, when the burden of being a member of Parliament feels lighter. When you look and see the joy, the pride, the appreciation on the faces of the beneficiaries, knowing very well that the hope that we talk about has become a reality for them, and it will spark the light of hope to others. Madam Speaker, we have, as a constituency management team, consulted and sought to meet the needs of our constituents. We anticipate as an evolving development team. I say evolving as we pull in emerging young leaders to continue to tap into the energy of our people to realize their dreams of development, build wealth and prosperity, secure our families' health, assured also of the handover of legacy for our next generation. Madam Speaker, I will continue to stay focused and put my very best effort in serving the people of St. and Northwestern well in every opportune moment. And as Galatians 6 verses 9 says, Madam Speaker, in our good book, amen. And let us not be weary in doing well, amen. In well-doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not. Amen. Thank you, Madam Speaker.